Welcome to Tiz Takes, sports talk for the casual fan. And here is your host, 1/3 of the partners, your boy Tiz.
What's popping? What's percolating? What's going on? Happy Saturday. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. Hope everybody's doing well. What is good? It's your boy Tiz back with another episode of Tiz Takes, sports talk for the casual fan. We're gonna keep it as always under 30 minutes or less, unless someone joins the panel and has something to say, or unless the conversation just gets that good. We got our three topics for this week. But before we get started, make sure whether you're liking this on replay, whether you're watching this live, or whether you got, you up in the cloud somewhere watching, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you share this with other sports fans so that they can join the conversation as well. All right, let's get into it, man. We got our three topics for this week. The three topics are the NBA playoff predictions and takes. I actually am recording this a little earlier today just to make sure that I can kind of try to slide in right as the games are getting going for the day, or right before the games getting going. So yeah, I'm gonna give y'all my predictions on today's games or this weekend's games. We're gonna talk about. I read this NBA trade article on Bleacher Report. And they brought up 5 trades that could change the NBA, and I'm going to kind of go through that, and we're going to give our thoughts on that. And then also, man, it's springtime. The USFL is about to kick off, and I wanted to look at can spring football actually be a thing that works? Many leagues have tried, many leagues have failed. Can this be a thing that actually is sustainable? We're going to take a look at that today. But let's go right into the first topic to kick it off, man. Let's talk about these NBA playoffs. The play-in games have already given us some crazy excitement. As you already know, the Timberwolves won the championship. If you know, you know. So it's already been a very exciting year for the playoffs with the play-in games already. And today the playoffs are actually kicking off. So I wanted to go through each game, kind of look at the pros and cons for each team, look at the matchups, and give y'all my take on who won. And feel free to, as always, drop it in the comments or come up on the panel and give your take on who you think will win these games. So the first game we're gonna look at, we're looking at number 1 versus number 8 in the East, the Hawks and the Heat. I actually have this matchup as being one of the more exciting matchups of the whole playoffs. They're two scrappy teams. There are two teams with a history of kind of being in that middle of the road, especially in recent years. And they're both trying to get over that playoff hump and kind of emerge as a real dominant force in the East. You got the Hawks. Ice Trae is he's kind of stepping into his playoff form. He struggles in the first 3 quarters at times, and that's kind of something to watch. Because against a team like the Heat, he definitely can cause a problem if he puts them in a hole early. What's good, Rodney? Oh yeah, I had to jump on a little early, man. I wanted to kind of beat these playoff games, but it's all good if you need to catch the replay, King. It's all good. I totally understand. But yeah, Ice Trae, he can put them in a hole. He can come out a little cold at times and be pressing, especially in the first half. I don't know whether that's nerves or whether he's just excited or whether that's just his play style, but it can be an issue in the playoffs, especially against a team like the Heat, who they have decent defenders. Not saying that any one of them is elite, but they have decent defenders. Jimmy Butler can definitely step up and take on a defensive matchup like Ice Trae if necessary. But the Hawks, I think the Hawks is really going to come down. Like, they got a really good squad, man. They got who is it? Bogdan. They got who? Danilo. They got John Collins. They got Clint. I think it's gonna come down to Collins. I think this whole matchup actually comes down to these X factor players like Collins and Adebayo. If Adebayo is healthy, which he's expected to be, him and John Collins is a matchup that I'm really looking at. I think everybody else kind of washes each other out. I think both teams have enough shooting to kind of even it out. I do think the Heat having Kyle Lowry this year is a huge thing that people aren't talking about. I don't see him being like this amazing. He's supposed to. They're banged up. Him and Capella both are banged up, but I think that they're supposed to at least play, at least by game 2. But I got it coming down to that. Like, if Collins can play and he can play well, I think he gives the Hawks the edge. If not, I think with their current lineups and Collins not playing, I got Kyle Lowry being the X factor. I feel like he gives them just enough veteran leadership, just enough scrappiness down in the fourth quarter, especially. Like, I don't see him having to play that big. He can be a player that gives you 9-7 and 9-7 and 4, 9-7 and 5. But those 9-7 and 5 come at a clutch moment. You know what I mean? And with his experience with the Raptors and just being there before, I think that really does help players like a hero. What's the other kid named Duncan? I think it helps those players in a series like this. So I actually have, if Collins plays and he plays well, I got the Hawks winning. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and roll with the Heat. It's tough to go against players like Butler and Lowry in the playoffs with the team around them right now. So yeah, I say it come down to Collins, but if Collins is playing banged up or if Collins is just not able to go, then we're gonna go with the Heat in a slight edge tonight and in the actual series, which takes us to number 2, the Celtics versus the Nets. This is a hard overhead game for me. Y'all know I'm a Durant fan, so the Nets is that they're near and dear to my heart. But I did pick last week Boston to take it from the East, period. And I still got it like that. If Ben Simmons plays somehow, some way, if it snows tomorrow in Hawaii, then cool. That changes everything. Because then that's a whole different dynamic. We have a whole nother conversation on whether he's game ready, et cetera, et cetera. But as currently constructed, in a 7-game series, if everybody stays healthy right now, Tatum is scary to me, man. Tatum forces Durant to have to actually play defense at some point because nobody else is going to be long enough to actually contest his shots and keep him from maybe going to the basket at will. Like, Tatum is a different animal. He's like a 6'9" young Kobe right now. And he's getting better, which is scary. Marcus Smart always give you a scrappy defender. He definitely can't stop Kyrie, but I can see him kind of being annoyance just enough to slow him down at certain key moments. And then you got Jaylen Brown, which nobody on the Nets can attest for. And he's a legitimate hooper. He can go. He's a legitimate number 2 in this league. And I think it's tough, man. Like, we have kind of a wash at every other position. But unless we have Ben Simmons, which gives us that extra defender that we need on the wing, it's tough because whoever we put on Tatum is going to leave Brown wide open to kill us. Whoever we put on Brown is going to leave Tatum wide open, and then they have enough guys to throw at us that it's just hard, man. Like, this is one of them series where Durant and Irving can average 30 the whole series, and we still lose the series. So my head says Boston. I'm going to stick with my pick. I'm going to stick to my guns because I said it. But I'm hoping to be wrong. I'm gonna be honest. I'm hoping Durant and Kyrie can somehow pull out some miraculous play and do something to stop these Celtics, man. But the Celtics look scary right now. Like I said, I got them coming out of the East period. So, yeah, it comes down to what do we get now? Now I will say this: if somebody like a Seth Curry, can all of a sudden turn into playoff turn into his brother like in the playoffs, then that's something different. Yeah, we got a couple players that's decent, but I'm talking about playoff good. You know what I mean? Like we have a bunch of young players that are like regular season players, and we got a bunch of like shooters that are not. Like last year in the playoffs, we pretty much have the same team except for Kyrie is going to be playing more. And last year in the playoffs, like most of them kind of froze up and started just watching Durant do what he does, which is kind of why the Milwaukee series kind of went the way it did. Like that's why it kind of came down to that last shot. Like we need players that are going to be able to give us significant contributions. Like we need somebody that's going to average a good 17 and 6, whether that's 17.6 rebounds or 17.6 assists. But we need somebody that's going to give us a legitimate third man, because every other team has one. And that's kind of where we fall short at. Like every other team has a legitimate 3-headed monster, even if that third player is just a third man. He's not, no, it never couldn't be a star on nobody else's team, but they have those players that, all right, when the other two are getting double teamed or triple teamed, or when the other two they're tired because they're having to actually play against another good offensive player on the other end. We need somebody that's, hey, all right, well, while y'all two kind of, locked up or y'all need a rest, I'm gonna go ahead and keep the offense moving. I'm gonna come in with the second squad and really push the other team and make them still have to continue to score, where they can't just relax and start just going into defensive mode while holding us off. And that's the thing. Like we need Seth Curry to step up. We need an Andre Drummond to, big penguin. We need you, baby. Bruce Brown, we need you to do something. Like we need somebody to step up. That's really all it is. But otherwise, I got the Celtics, man. In 6 or 7, I got the Celtics. Next matchup, number 3 versus number 6. We got the Bucks versus the Bulls. This is the one where I see an upset brewing. I don't know why. This is completely just one of those gut feeling things. Giannis is out of his mind. Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton are legitimate, both number 2s on anybody's team. So like they're legitimate stars in this league, and they can go. They can put some buckets up in a hurry if they need to. So the Bucks are scary. And they coming off of, a year where they already got the championship. So they're feeling themselves. They got that championship swagger they're playing with. And Giannis is getting better every year, which is still scary because the kid, he's already, top 2, top 3 in the league right now. But there's something I really like about DeRozan's game right now. He's added a legitimate, it's not on the level of Steph and them, definitely, but it's definitely, a consistent enough 3-pointer that I'll take that. Vucevic, I feel like he can at least make Giannis have to defend somebody. Lonzo's kind of an X factor. If he can put up some legitimate numbers, I think the Bulls can pull it out in 7 games. It's crazy. I don't have anything legitimate to back it up other than the fact that I just like the way they play basketball, and I really like DeRozan's game right now. I think LaVine is legit. I think Lonzo has finally found a place where he can be himself. And you know what I'm saying? Like nothing on paper says that they're supposed to win. But that's gonna be my like kind of out there pick. Like I got Bulls in 6. I'm probably gonna be wrong. I'm gonna look really dumb on this pick in a few episodes, but I got Bulls in 6, man. And that's gonna be crazy. That's like my upset of the year kind of pick. That's my Charles Barkley post-it pick. Put that shit on the wall. But yeah, man. Bulls in 6. Book it. I got DeRozan being huge, and I really do see Lonzo like stepping up and doing something crazy and being an X factor with that. Like he gets hot at a weird time, and yeah, we get it going. What's good, bro? What's poppin', face? But yeah, man, Bulls in 6. Next matchup, last one from the East, we got Number 4, number 5, the 76ers versus the Raptors. I got the Sixers winning this one in 5 or 6 games. But I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't like Harden, man. And I don't mean that he's bad. He's a bad player. It's just something about him in big moments and him. I don't know whether it's he's tired. Hey, man, you can say it's a terrible pick, man, but the Bulls gonna win in 6, man. Book it, okay? Book it. Sound just like Skip Bayless. But yeah, Harden scares me, man. Like on every team he's been on, except for when he was still with the Thunder. He's come up short. Every time he's 1 or 2, 1A or 1B on the team, playoffs come, he finds a reason to not be great. He'll be great every other game, every other moment of the season. But if something's on the line and it actually matters, he doesn't care. And I think it's something mentally. I don't think it's he can't do it, but until I see him get through that mental block in the playoffs, I got the Sixers winning this series. But Harden will be the reason that the Sixers do not make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Book that. I don't see it happening. And I feel bad for Embiid because he is going to show out. I got him showing up huge in the playoffs. I got him looking as dominant as he has ever looked. But the other teams in the East just have more. Like, it's getting to a point in this league where everyone is so skilled, you have to have that top 10% on your team of the league that's going to separate you. And if you don't, you're going to just be stuck middle of the road. I'm out of here first, second round every year. That's just going to be what it is. And I see the Raptors being one of those teams right now. I like Siakam, but I don't think he's a legitimate number 1. I like Van Fleet. Don't get me wrong. But I think Van Fleet's numbers are like they are because he's given a green light on a team like he's on. You put him on a different team, he's a 6-man, maybe a 7-man, he's gonna put up some number. He's not doing that. So I just don't see it in the Raptors roster. I don't see where they have a player that I'm looking like, oh, they're gonna outdo whatever Embiid puts up in this first round. But next round, whoever the Sixers play, it's not looking good. So Sixers in 5 or 6. I'll give the Raptors, 1 or 2 games. But yeah, it's not going to work out well. So we're going to take it over to the West. The Phoenix Suns versus the New Orleans Pelicans, 1 versus 8. I'm going to be honest, man. This ain't even this is going to be a sweep. Unless somebody get injured, I don't see none that the Pelicans can do with the Suns. Not one thing. Not one damn thing. I see this getting ugly early. And here go my other wild take of the day. His take. At some point in this series, game 3, maybe when it's getting real, real ugly, the Pelicans gonna try to trot out fat ass Zion to get some burn. Try to change the dynamic. And it ain't gonna go well. But yeah. Suns and 4. Get the brooms out for this one. It's gonna get ugly fast, guys. Ingram is not that clutch. McCollum I've still not seen him being the man like that. He still looks like he's a second or third wheel on a team where he should actually be the number 1 option. But the fact that Brandon Ingram is your number 1 guy, I'm done. I'm done. Good day, sir. Suns in 4. Next we got number 2 versus number 7, Memphis and the Timberwolves. Yo, I don't know what the hell Memphis done done, but their front office deserves an award. They have assembled just an amazing team of basketball players, bro. From top to bottom, the Memphis can put together 2 or 3 different lineups that are all deadly. And one of those lineups doesn't even have to have Ja Morant in it to still be deadly. That's scary going into the playoffs when your number one player doesn't have to be on the court for you to still be a legitimate top 4 team. That's a hell of a job by the front office in Memphis. And they are legit dangerous. Like they could be that one team that just upsets everything in the whole West. I know they're young. They have a really young player. What's good, drama? Popcorn's up. But they got hoopers, dude. Like in basketball, it's certain players, man, that it don't matter which position you playing. It don't matter what surface you playing on. It don't matter what the basketball look like. It don't matter what the hoop look like. They just can ball. They just know how to move over on the court. They know how to make the right decision. They know how to make the right rotation at the right moment. They know how to pass to the right man and give up the ball at the right time. Like, they got some dogs, man. And Jock is going to be healthy. Scary. I do think Pat Beverly is going to be an irritant. I think Anthony Edwards is legitimately coming into his own as a star in this league. And he is a matchup terror. I don't like Cat. I'm not saying he's a bad basketball player, but I don't think that he is what he thinks he is. He thinks he's an Embiid. I see him more as a Vucevic. He's good, but he is some in the intangible area. You're not going to be that damn big and come up with what he had the other night, 5 rebounds. I don't mean no harm. You give me his height, and my ass can get 5 fucking rebounds. More than 5 rebounds. I can give you 10. I'm going to give you a 10 piece. That's just off the height, not even off no skill. So you mean tell me you supposed to be the man? You consider yourself a top 3 big man in the league and you getting 5 rebounds? That's horrible. That is terrible. That is big terrible. Ja is making the Pelicans look really dumb. When they came out of college, I knew that this was going to be a thing. I wish I had been doing this show when they came out of college, because I definitely had Ja being the best player in that draft. He has it. He has that thing that you need to become a superstar. He has that extra thing that when other people won't, he's going to do that extra mile to be great. He's going to put in that extra piece of work, add that one extra piece to his game. He's going to study that extra piece of film that gives him an edge on his competitor. He's going to make himself mad enough on the court. And the crazy thing is, he's probably one of the nicest players in the damn league. Like he seems like he's a real mellow dude. But on that court, that motherfucker is trying to take everybody's head off. Now, I do worry about his health, because the way he plays reminds me of Young Rose. Like, he's real reckless in the paint, and his body is not necessarily bulked up enough to continue to take that. I would like to see him this offseason definitely go through one of them Jordan after the Piston runs, getting his weight up a little bit in the weight room and adding about maybe 5 or 10 pounds to that frame to kind of be able to withstand a little bit more shock. But if he stays healthy, Grizzlies about to smoke boots. He's going to smoke boots. Yeah, Zion, his health, man. Like, when you're that big in high school and you're young. So as a young person, like, the way your body going to distribute weight is different, but what you want to eat is going to be different. Like, you got to have people around you that's smart enough to put you with a nutritionist early. Like, Like right now, he young. Like, but he getting to the point where like he's gonna put so much weight on his body that if he does lose weight, his frame gonna start to suffer like structural damage from just the fluctuation in weight, the impact of him trying to put on all these damn dunk clinics for no damn reason when he's fucking over 300 pounds right now. Like he gonna burn himself out just because nobody's around him apparently giving him good advice. Like I don't know what's up with his team. I don't know the backstory on that necessarily, but I see a young brother that needs some guidance because he should be a top 5 player in this league, but he's going to end up being a top 5 bust of all time because the potential is out of this world. But at some point, too, man, as a young man, like I also kind of look at it like you're grown. You got to want it enough. You're getting paid millions of dollars to do this. If this is truly your dream, how bad do you fucking want it? Like I watch people with dreams that are less grandiose, but they sit there and grind their ass off for it. So why can't you put down the cheeseburger and the pizza and fucking eat a salad, go hit the weight room, get your cardio on, and get it together? Simple as that. But yeah. So definitely got the Grizzlies win this series. I don't know whether it's gonna be 5 or 6, but I don't see it going to 7 for sure. I see Edwards kind of having this as one of his coming out parties. Like I do see him having some type of a statement game. And despite the snitching, I do like D'Lo Russell as a basketball player. I do think that he has a good chance to also kind of continue his little redemption tour that he started when he was back with the Nets. He could be an X factor in this series, but and help him push it to maybe a game 6. But yeah, man, the Grizzlies got too much firepower. Like at every position, they got 2 or 3 legitimate players that can go, and I mean like on any night against anybody, and they don't back down. I don't see no shrink from the moment in them. I don't see nothing in them that tells me that they gonna choke all of a sudden. Like I see them like they got some dogs. So Grizzlies in 5 or 6. I'll say 6 just to be safe, but yeah, Grizzlies in 6. Next up we got the Warriors and the Nuggets. Old MVP versus new MVP. I don't know if the Nuggets got enough. Don't look like we getting any Murray or Porter Jr. this year, so that's done. And I like Joker, man. I actually really like his game. He remind me of like a even better. He remind me of like a new age Arvydas Sabonis. If y'all remember him back in the day, used to be with the Blazers. Was an international superstar, but used to play with the Blazers back in the day. I like the way he see the court. He's like the next evolution of Sabonis, man. But I don't think he can do it by himself, man. Curry is a beast. I like the way Poole is kind of coming to his own. Big Looney is solid enough, I think, to give them at least a solid 3 games that mean something. I don't think Aaron Gordon is really that good outside of dunk contest. So really, man, it's just it's looking like you get Curry back. You got Dre, and then you got Poole, you got Looney, and you got all of them against basically Joker and half of Aaron Gordon. So I just think it comes down to a firepower issue at this point with this series. So I got the Warriors, man. I got the Warriors in 7. I think the Denver is scrappy enough to kind of just push them to that. But yeah, man, I think they're gonna weigh out on firepower. So Warriors in 7. Last but not least, we got Mavs and Jazz. Jazz is the funniest team in the NBA. every year they're in the playoffs. Every year they make it interesting against whoever they play, but nobody ever talks about them at all during the regular season. Donovan Mitchell, one of the best players in the NBA. Nobody ever talks about him as one of the best players in the NBA during the regular season. We talk about the Jazz for literally 1 to 2 months out of every year, and then they're gone. They're hilarious. I don't know what the hell it is about them. Maybe it's because they're in Utah, so that people don't really catch their games unless they're on late. But these motherfuckers are a legitimate squad. They got a really good inside presence with Rudy Gobert. He can play a little soft sometime. I ain't gonna need front, but overall he is dominant in the paint when it comes to the defensive end. I'd like to see him do a little better on the offensive glass, but that's another story. Donovan Mitchell, legit. Donovan is legit, man. That boy go. Ain't no if, ands, or buts about it. He's one of the top 3 or 4 guards in the league to me. Like he is a baller. On anybody else's team, we're talking about him every year as one of the best players. But it is what it is. But yeah. When I look over at the Mavs, I'm seeing Dinwiddie and Brunson, and you got out of his mind Luke. This is the hardest one to pick for me out of the whole playoffs. I ain't gonna front. It's just a weird matchup to me. I really do see them as a team, a team that kind of washes each other out as far as what they'll get on the offensive end. I think it may just come down to defensively. I'll go Jazz in 7, man. I like their ability to stop Mavericks more than I like the Mavs' ability to stop them. So I think if it gets scrappy, I'll just go Jazz in 7. But that can go either way. It's just a weird ass matchup, man. I also got that as being probably the most boring matchup. Like they can go down to the wire every game, and I just don't care. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. But despite not giving a damn, Jazz in 7. So yeah, man, that's the NBA playoffs, man. Definitely, I see y'all dropping y'all's in the chat as far as who y'all think will win. If you watch it on replay, definitely put down in the comments who you think is gonna win each matchup and why. And make sure you say some shit that makes sense. Don't say no crazy shit that just don't make sense. If you're gonna make a heart pick, make sure you preface it like I did and say, okay, this just from the heart. This don't make no sense to nobody else, but this is how I feel. You dig? So yeah, man. Then my NBA round 1 predictions. Still rolling with the Suns versus the Celtics as the NBA finals this year. I haven't seen anything yet that will make me think that that's in jeopardy. But despite me holding to my guns, that could be something that just makes me look like a fool in a few weeks. So we'll keep our eye on it. We'll talk about it again next week, man, and see how many of these we actually got right. So let's go on to the next thing, man. While we stand in the NBA, read this article. I was looking at this article on the Bleacher Report today, and it was about NBA trade ideas that could reshape the league next year. And I wanted to kind of look at it with y'all and just see what we think of what they're talking about and whether and how it would affect the league and whether these trades would even make sense for the two teams they're talking about. So the first trade they're talking about is the Hornets finding their 5 and the Pacers getting some assets. So they're saying that the Hornets the Pacers would trade Miles Turner and TJ McConnell to get Gordon Hayward, James Bouknight, and a 2022 first round pick. It could be lottery. It should be lottery protected from the Pelicans. I like this pick. The more old guard presences that you get from around LaMelo right now, I think the better. I think he's your future, 1A or 1B. So I think you build around him and you kind of get rid of some of these old players that he's still, naturally deferring to because they were his OGs when he came into the league. So I think I like the idea of getting rid of Hayward. For the Pacers, I don't know I mean, they definitely still will have a big man. You know, you still got Sabonis that can slide to both. You know, you know, a lot of teams play small ball now anyway, so he could definitely, you know, pull it off at the 4 to 5 interchangeably. But uh yeah, I like this trade. I like this. It gives the Pacers a chance to also, you know, if they need to bulk up at the on the wing position, or if they need to, you know what I'm saying, get a more sturdy 5 to let Sabonis play the 4. I like the fact that they'll have a lottery pick. Um, they get a veteran wing in Hayward that can, you know, give them a little bit of, you know, just a little bit of cushioning on the bench to make sure that they stay short up there. And then, you know, you got Boo Knight as well. I like it. I'm actually not mad at it. That trade works. And then obviously the Hornets, now you got a legitimate 5 with Miles Turner that can really play, and you putting him with a really good point guard in Melo. So I like that pairing. I like that 1-2 punch that the Hornets would get. So I'd actually grade that trade as about a B plus. If the Pacers were able to maybe, instead of Hayward, actually get Rozier, and if the Hornets were willing to do that, I would actually like that trade better. I think that the number one player that's holding LaMelo back is Rozier, because they play, you know, similar style. They both kind of are ball dominant guards, and they are both, you know, like Rozier has been doing it in the league longer, so LaMelo kind of plays off whenever Rozier's on the court. I would like to see Rozier go ahead and go, let LaMelo do his thing, and let Rozier be the man on another team. So if you switch out Gordon Hayward and Rozier, I think that would take this trade to an A. But right now, I got it as a BB plus. You know, it's a strong trade. It definitely helps both teams, and so shores up positions for both teams that are legitimate problems right now. The next trade that they were talking about in this article here is the Thunder start their acceleration and the Hawks find flexibility. So they're saying that the Hawks should trade John Collins, and they would receive from the Thunder Baisley, Kenrick Williams, Derek Favors. Yeah, I ain't gonna even front. I ain't even know Derek Favors was still in the league. A 2022 first round pick from the Suns, and a 2023 first round pick, lottery protected, from Denver. Yeah, no. I don't like it. I don't like it. The Thunder still don't really have any, like, I still don't see them being that great, putting him with Gilgeous. And I actually see Collins regressing on that team, because he's going to be asked to do more than what I think that he's actually ready to do right now in his career. I think having him on the Hawks, where he's, you know what I'm saying, definitely your number 2 guy, but it's not all on him, because you have, like, you know, you have like pretty much 4 number 3s on the Hawks that can all kind of step up and fill in that number 2 whenever Collins is having a weak night. So, like, I think Collins is in a good position right now for his career. I don't see the Hawks really needing an old power forward in Favors. I don't really care for Kenrick Williams and Baisley. I don't know. I like the picks. I'm not gonna front there. I like the picks. That gives the Hawks definitely some room to kind of stock up and give them some more wing, another wing contributor, and give them a more dominant inside presence as far as on the boards and defensively. But yeah, I don't like this one. I would say this is maybe a C. I don't even know what I would do to take this up a notch. I just don't like this trade. Yeah, we would just say thumbs down on this one, in my opinion. OKC, I think, needs a legitimate number 2 for Gilgeous-Alexander to play with right now, to make the most out of him. And I don't see that being Collins. And Collins needs to stay where he's at to get the most out of his career, I think. I think he's in the right spot right now for what he needs as a player right now. So yeah. Nah, I don't like that trade right there. That was kind of dumb. Next trade they were talking about here is the Lakers would add some more spacing, and the Pacers would keep resetting. So they're saying that the Pacers would get Westbrook, Horton Tucker, a 2027 first rounder, and a 2029 first rounder. And the Lakers would get Brogdon and Buddy Hield. This trade I love. I love this trade. The Lakers don't care about their draft picks anyway. This is a totally Lakers trade. This fits their mold. But you get rid of Westbrook, and you in return you get a player like Buddy Hield and Brogdon that can actually space the floor for you, can be scorers in their own right off the dribble as well, and give you legitimate shooting, which is what I think LeBron needs around him at this. He can't stop being himself. Like, he's not going to go down on the block and be a 4. You can't get AD big ass down there on the block to be a 5. So cool. Let's go ahead and shore up the wing so that when since LeBron want to keep on playing the point guard, let him do that, and let's put some legitimate tools around him that can actually put the ball in the bucket instead of clanging or just standing there looking dumb like Russell Westbrook has been doing this year. Let's just do that. And Horton Tucker has not lived up to what people was hyping him up to be in the preseason. He just hasn't. That experiment failed to me. So yeah, let's go ahead and clear some shit out. Russell Westbrook gets to be the man on a team that don't nobody care about yet again, which is what he likes. He gets the ball back in his hands. Now I do see it being a difficulty with him and Oladipo working together, but he gets the ball back in his hands, which he's gonna love. And he has a big man to dump it off to so he can get his triple doubles again and Sabonis and Miles Turner. So yeah, I like this trade. Hey. I just want the Lakers to get back to being good again, so basketball can have an extra player in the West to make things more interesting. That's all. Right now, man, Westbrook is dragging that whole franchise down. He don't even understand why. He think he's right. That's the scary part. But yeah, man, this next trade, they said, I think this might be the last one. They said the Blazers go big and the Jazz will start over. So the Blazers would get Gobert. The Blazers would get Gobert, and the Jazz would get Nasir Little, Greg Brown, Eric Bledsoe, the 2022 first round pick, which is a 1 through 4 and a 15 through 30 protected from the Pelicans, and a 2024 first round pick, top 3 protected. I'm not mad at this. I don't know that the Blazers would necessarily get any better. I still think they'd be exactly in the same position they're in right now. Because they still, like, their problem is scoring outside of Damian Lillard. But they do need some defensive help. They do need a paint presence. So Gobert clears that. The Jazz do need really more wing defending. And it needs some more scoring. So you get that in Bledsoe and Little. You can still fill in any other holes with your picks. Yeah, I'll say B+ on this one. This one actually kind of works for both teams here. Yeah. All right. So those are those trades, man. Let me know what y'all think about those trades, man. Drop it in the chat, drop it in the comments, or, let me know. But yeah, only one of those was really one that I think would really do something that would shake up things for real. The other ones were kind of just like, so what? But yeah, that leads us to our last topic of the night or the day. Can spring football actually work? The USFL is about to kick it off. In the past couple of years, we've seen the XFL, the AFL or the AF something. Like, you've seen a bunch of leagues trying to pop off in the spring/summer, and they've all kind of folded. Can this actually work? A bunch of people have tried. The USFL tried before in the 80s. It just never sticks. Can it work? Why doesn't it work? And is it worth it at this point in 2022? Do people want to see it? So let's discuss. The pros. I definitely think I like the fact that spring football does give another football option. For like players that go undrafted from the NFL or players that might not have been invited to the draft in the first place, but that might, have worked themselves into a place where they're better than when they were when they left college. So I like that. I like it for option for people who may not have been able to go to college, but are really, what I'm saying, good on a semi-pro team, and they just maybe need a look to get them paid and get them that exposure and that experience. I like that spring football doesn't feature NFL talent, so the NFL doesn't take any like injury risks. It's not like basketball players going to play in the Olympics and risking injury for their teams or anything like that. Like the NFL players can sit back and watch and be spectators and relax, while other players are playing football and we as fans still get football. And then obviously it helps the stadiums. So like there's a lot of stadiums that may not have an NBA team associated with it, or a baseball team associated with it. So during the spring, they're trying to fill it out with other events. This gives them a legitimate option to fill their stadiums and get that revenue to stay open and to continue to make improvements on the stadium. So I definitely like that. But I think there's just more against it. And I think that's why this hasn't worked yet. I think for one, there's too many other sports going on. Like you got college basketball, college baseball, pro baseball. You got the NBA playoffs gearing up. You got baseball gearing up. For the MLB, you got hockey starting to kick off. Like there's so much other shit. You got international sporting games. So usually this is the time when you start to hear about things like as we're going into the summer, especially the World Cup stuff starts to kick off around the country, around the world and stuff like that. So like it's just so much stuff that distracts people. It's hard to get any eyes actually going on that. Like it's hard to even know when the games are when it's 13 other things on that day that are catching your attention. And they're in their actual season with the best players that they have to offer. And that takes me to the second kind of thing that just messes up spring football. It is no NFL talent. So the quality is less. Like when you're watching the college game, the quality is less, and that these players are actually going to be in the pros. So you have that relationship there with the pros to kind of bridge the gap and make it okay for you to watch players that are, not necessarily that great sometimes. USFL ain't got that benefit. Them games be sucking sometimes just because the players are like Larry Lunch Pail. Bought him up, took him off the line at Walmart and was like, "Hey, come on, dude, you big. Let's get you a helmet. You'll be a great lineman for this team." And you wonder why the quarterback that got sacked 7 times in these games and shit. Like the lack of NFL talent, it makes the quality less, and nobody want to see that outside of college game. The uniforms usually suck, and the broadcasting. Like a lot of too, what makes certain sports leagues pop or what makes sporting events pop is like the aesthetics of the things, like uniforms that look cool. You know what I'm saying? That there's people who actually don't go to certain teams or won't go to certain colleges just because the uniforms are bad. In these spring leagues, a lot of times all of the uniforms are bad. They look like some shit that you wouldn't let your child play rec league in, and then you got these grown men walking around in these shit brown and mustard green and weird colors. Like it's just ugly. And then the broadcasting be all dry. Sometimes the broadcasters don't even know what the hell they talking about. And it just leads to a less aesthetically pleasing product. Like what you're watching just doesn't look as good. What you're listening to just doesn't sound as good as what you're used to. And that's the thing. Like you've gotten used to this high quality product. And then you're going to watch some bullshit. It's like if you eat the best of the best foods every day from a chef, and then you go back to ramen noodles and bologna sandwiches, like you might not have tasted the difference before, but now you won't feel the difference. Like, oh, this is not what I want. My palate has evolved. This ain't the shit. The fuck is this? So yeah. And speaking of less appealing products, they always changing the rules and shit. They always trying to add a little wrinkle or add some extra shit to the game. Like football ain't already appealing. Like we watch the NFL not for the gimmicks and not for, let's have them run out to the middle of the field in a scrum real quick. Like this ain't rugby. We would just watch rugby if we wanted to see that. Oh, let's have some backstage and we go into the girls' locker room. Like that shit gimmicky as hell. The average person that's watching the football is looking at it to see good football. Just give us good football. Give us quality players with quality coaching, quality broadcasting, quality uniforms, and let them play regular football. You don't got to add no special rules about the kickoffs. You ain't got to try to make it, spiced up. Oh, you can clothesline people now. Like, stop doing all this weird shit that leads to half the league every year being injured in the first week of it. XFL, half the league injured in the first week, all dumb shit. People career toe up in this gimmicky ass league, and now they definitely ain't gonna get no future in the NFL. Just make it real football. But that's why it ain't gonna work. We already got real football. We got the NFL. We don't need another pro league. If the pro league we had was that bad, people wouldn't still be watching it. Do the numbers fluctuate? Sure. These days with cancel culture and, all the protests around different things, of course the numbers gonna suffer. But overall, the NFL is still one of the top sporting leagues in our country. People still watching it. So it ain't suffering. So we don't need something else. And that's the problem. People keep trying to fill voids, and it ain't one. We don't need that. We don't need the USFL. We got the NFL. We're gonna keep on watching that. So don't give us no more spring football. We'll watch our kids and their rec league teams. We'll watch our buddies that play on their little semi-pro teams and shit. But we don't need no USFL, no XFL, no BFL, no TFL, no BLT. We don't need none of that shit. And that's my Tiz take. That's been Tiz Takes, y'all. Casual sports talk for the casual fan. Y'all be blessed on this Saturday, man. Make sure y'all let me know y'all thoughts and opinions on all of my takes from this week. Let me know your takes down in the comments or in the chat below. Thank you to Rodney and Drama for swinging through. Thank you for my brother Face for swinging through and joining the conversation live. And y'all all be blessed, man. Love y'all. Have a great Saturday. I see y'all around these YouTube streets. More partner shit coming on the way. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Peace, bitches.